Okay, cool. Okay, so hi to LLMP students that are joining us today. Thank you for coming to talk about niche. I'm wondering, I'm Dominique. Hi. I'm wondering if anyone has any initial reasons why they're showing up to talk about niche. Do they have any niche related questions? Do you already know your niche? Just so I can kind of get a feel for who's in the room. You can put it in the chat, or you can even like take yourself off audio. It's such a big topic too. It's like what you're meant for. And I'll get started with the slides in a minute, less than a minute. So Adriana, oh great, Sasha mentioned something. I'll come to that in a second. Thank you, Sasha. Adriana, is it okay if I just say like next when we're going to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that'll be our clear signal. Okay. Okay, so Sasha says she's overthinking about niche rather than just going for it. Right, knowing not enough about the niche and perfectionism can get in the way. Absolutely. There are reactions to that, which tells me that Sasha's not alone. Okay, thank you, Sasha. I'll orient around that. So let's dive in. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so how to decide on your niche is why we're here. I'm Dominique Paloma Bible. I'm an educator and I'm an entrepreneur and an LLMP graduate. I got my certificate in May of last year and I started in 2022 in November of 22. So this community has helped me out so much, and I wanted to give back. I wanted to meet the new students, and when I do pop in for meetings, I see that niche is such a common point of struggle. And what I do as an educator is I see what people are really good at, and I help them to build it into something, to create a life around that thing that they're really good at. So I wanted to come and share basically my framework for seeing, like being a detective, and seeing what people are really good at. Okay, next. Adriana. You can, yeah, thank you. Another title for this is How to See Your Genius. And I just want to be explicit that according to Google, the definition of niche is what is a suitable position of employment for you. Keyword suitable, right? Another way I think to look at this is your genius. Everyone is a genius at something. What are you a genius at? That's what your niche is going to be in line with. Okay, next. Okay, thank you. So, agenda. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll talk a little bit about niche, going further into what that is and why it's so important. And then we'll go into the framework, origin, what, why, how, origin, mission, and vision. And this is going to hopefully help you to do a little self-discovery and get closer or maybe even to that decision of what is my niche. And then we'll talk about next steps. Should you want some one-on-one support, that's what I offer through both of my businesses, off the Beaten Path Learning as well as Communities Choose Growth. One-on-one support is the core offering, so we'll talk about next steps. And then there should be some time at the end for Q&A. Okay. And you can go to the next slide, Adriana. I made a graphic for this there was a preview of it in the Discord, the super graphic-y graphic. When we get to that point, I'll invite some engagement from you guys to know more about what your niche is, what you're struggling with, essentially the questions I opened with, but maybe not everyone was here, not everyone was ready. So, okay. About Dominique. All right. So who am I and why am I talking to you about niche? I'm an educator, and I've been an educator for 14 years. 7 of those years, I've been helping businesses, teams, nonprofits. I'm also a freelancer, partially thanks to the LLMP community. And I'm very happy to share that I now have this pink button on my Upwork, top rated plus, very exciting. And more exciting even than that is Off the Beaten Path Learning and Communities Choose Growth, which are the businesses where I get to share my niche, which is seeing what people do really, really well and helping them to build around that. Okay, next. Yeah, so there it is. That's what brings me here today, is what I just said, is that my genius is seeing the genius of others and helping them to actualize it. And so this is a very mini version of that, is to kind of brainstorm a little bit about what is your genius and how can you actualize it? How can you turn it into monetization and helping people? Okay, next. Okay, cool. So defining niche. So early on in this masterclass, I mentioned that niche is, according to a quick Google definition, a suitable position, right? Suitable. What does that mean? This is your passion and your experiences. This is your industry and specialization. What does that mean? I think of niche as the intersection of what you love. That's this hand, is what you love. That's your passion. And how you help. So how you help, that's your industry. That's your specialization. That's like the verb, right? That's what you do. And your passion is the area. It's the noun, I guess. I don't know. Now I'm on something. Your passion is the area which you really care about, which you're really curious about, which you think about, talk about. Niche is fluid, compounding, and interdisciplinary. This is like the nature of what niche is. These are just some expectations to know going in. Like Sasha, for example, shared, and thank you for volunteering this because it really grounds us in what we're doing here today. Sasha shared that it was overwhelming. And I think that might have to do with expectations and like knowing that niche is supposed to be fluid, knowing that niche is supposed to be interdisciplinary and compounding and stacking, I think helps us to let go of perfectionism, because then we see the realistic expectations of like, it's messy. Because if niche is your genius and you are alive and you are always changing and always being affected by other things, of course your niche is going to change. Of course your specific specialization is going to adapt and flow. Of course it's going to be affected by all these different areas. That's a great thing. So these are just some expectations to know going in. Why it's important? so that you're not a fish climbing up a tree, so that you're doing your best work. Okay. Next. Okay, these are some quotes that I really liked around niche. So hopefully they inspire you like they inspired me. They're from Daniel Priestley of 24 Assets, Key Person of Influence. I've been learning a lot from him. So thank you, Daniel, for being so smart. He says, anything we keep coming back to as a recurring theme is what we're meant to be doing. Recurring theme. You need to find something where you are the irreplaceable life force. So key person of influence, Daniel Priestley's work, he talks a lot about personal branding. And in personal branding, you want to be able to connect people to people, right? People don't buy things, they buy from people. And so you want to be the irreplaceable life force. You want to give your product or service that story. Like, here's why I'm doing this. And so you're the irreplaceable life force, and that is going to be aligned with reoccurring themes in your life. Okay. Yeah, next. Okay, so here is the framework and the graphic-y graphic. Dun, 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 trumpets, confetti. The framework for looking at what is your niche comes down to three things: what, why, how. What is your origin? What is your origin story? What brought you joy when you were a kid? Why is your mission? This is the why behind your why, even. So what I mean by this is like, why is your work important? Why do you care about what you do? This is maybe what brings you a sense of pride, because what brings you a sense of pride, I think, when I think pride, I think about courage. And when I think about courage, I think about fear, facing your fears. And when I think about fears, I think about problems. This is your mission, is what are the problems that you care about. And then your vision is the how you want to approach those problems, how you want to approach that pleasure, that joy, your values, essentially. Okay. Okay, next. All right. So this is where we're going to share. Next again, actually. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we can stay right here for a second. So in the chat or out loud, share your niche or a question that you're struggling with related to niche. I just want to pause here so that I can orient the framework a little bit more closely to who's in the room. So I'm gonna give it a minute and see if anyone wants to. Maybe not a minute if no one says anything, but I'm just gonna give it a second and see if anyone wants to share about niche. Music festivals. Marit, thank you.
Travel industry.
Travel industry. Is that the same person who said, who just spoke?
My name is Stephanie. I'm so sorry. I'm finishing my breakfast.
No problem. No problem. Hi, Stephanie. Okay, so we have travel. Sasha says personal development. Music festivals. I'm curious if anyone. Well, we'll get to that, but at the end when we do Q&A, I would be curious to hear from people if they have ideas of their origin, of their mission, of their vision. Okay, so we'll share more at the end, which should be, it may be 15 minutes, and we'll have a good chunk of time to just kind of talk. And I would love to brainstorm with anyone. Yeah, just kind of talk through niche in more personalized ways. Okay. Music festivals are so fun. I'm grateful to say I've been to any. They're so fun. I hope that everyone should experience one in their life, if they're into that anyway. Okay, sorry, on a tangent. Let's get back to this. Great. Oh wait, okay, wait. I want to share this. A few more niches came in. Okay, so healthy living and sustainability. Not really a clear niche. Not really a clear niche, but definitely on the way to being a niche, right? Um, Karen says, my background is in finance, but I also have a creative side which I want to explore. Destination marketing. Destination marketing. Interesting. And so thinking back to how niche is compounding, right? That when I said niche is compounding, I meant that your niche is a continuation of your story. So for Karen, destination marketing, how is that impacted by finance? How can I combine and stack and compound on what I already have loved and what I already know about the world of finance, combine that with destination marketing? Archaeology, heritage, museum, academic research background. Oh, fun. I'm a nerd, and so that's like that sounds really fun. Still searching for my niche, but I'd like it to be related to arts and music, alternative music in some ways. Interesting mixture. That is highly interdisciplinary, and I will be curious, Cassandra, to see where that takes you. Okay, cool. Photography, nice. Thank you, John, for sharing. Okay, Adriana, you can hit next. Let's get into the framework. Um, This is, can you hit next again? I don't know if you hit next yet. Actually, I had the chat open, but can you hit it again to the next slide, please?
Just a second.
Ah, there we go. Yep, the what one. The what one. Perfect. Thank you. Great. Okay. So this is where we talk about your origin. This is where we get into what brought you joy as a child. This is really important so that you can enjoy your everyday. This is really important so that when you need to think about content, you can come back to like what brings you pleasure and joy, what sparks your passion. So think about ages of 5 to 15. What did you enjoy? I'm going to give you some examples. Next. So these are reoccurring themes in my life, right? When I was 5, I liked to gather around my stuffed animals and teach them what I had learned at daycare, the makings of an educator for sure. I like to draw. I like to sit alone and with my crayons and not be bothered. And I still do that. These slides are me drawing when I was 7 years old. Like I had so much fun putting together these slides alone in my house, just as I had so much fun drawing with crayons when I was a kid. Learning about others. So I love to sit at the adults' table at holidays and be in conversation with the adults, questioning them, getting to learn about them. And I still do that one-on-one work. I ask people questions, I learn about them, their ideas, love to do it. So this is where you're thinking about reoccurring themes, what brings you joy. Okay, next. Okay, after you've thought about joy, you're going to think about pride. Why? This is why. Why is your work important? I like to say the why behind the why. This is like why it really, really matters in the world. This is the problem you're addressing. Okay. And this is what's going to come very close to when at the end we cross-check for market demand. Can you give me an example of the why, Sasha? I'd love to. Adriana, can you click next? Ta-da, ta-da. Okay, so this is a really hard question to answer. First of all, let me just say this: like it might might take you years to come up with like a nice, easy answer. I actually had this meeting with a client this morning where we came up with the why behind their why, and it was to release stress for their clients so that their clients can prioritize on their passion, their true passion, right? For example, the why behind your why. You're a chef and you're a pastry chef. This is a real example. My friend is a pastry chef, and her why is to make people happy. She says that sugar and carbs make people happy, so she's out there baking pies and cookies and making people happy. That's her why, to make people happy. And her, there's also a personal why to that. She loves to be creative, but think of this as a mass why. This is a public why. This is why the people need you. Why does it matter? What are they going through? What's the problem that the world is going through where they need you? And how does that cross section to your particular abilities? So my personal example, my why is to empower. So my story is that I dropped out of high school, I dropped out of college, I went on to go get my master's degree and become an educator. I have a very unique story, and it relates to power. I'm in the business of power, in the business of growth. That's where I'm an expert in. That's my industry, is power and growth, and how do people learn. But my why has to do with choice, because when I chose to drop out, I was able to see how powerful choosing even is. I was able to see how it made an impact on my life. So that's why it matters so much to me. Okay. That's why. Okay, so let's go on to how. So that's a next slide, please. So your values. So on the hard days, when you're making really hard decisions, you're going to come back to your values. You're going to come back to, how do I want to show up in the world? This is the how. This is your vision, right? Origin, mission. This is your vision. You can click next, Adriana. I want to give an example. So my values are honesty, humility, and courage. As an example, you can even look up values. Like you can look up a PDF of values, a list of values, and see which ones resonate. See which ones am I going to anchor to and ground myself in when it gets difficult, because it will get difficult. How do I want to show up in the world, right? And this has to do with niche in the sense of like, how are you going to put your spin on your genius? How are you going to put your particular personality into the work that you do? This is the vision part of it. That's what that addresses. Okay. All right. Okay. Next. Okay, so after you've thought about your origin, your mission, and your vision, you'll cross-reference for need. This is where you do market research. This is where you make sure that what it is you're offering is wanted and needed. This is not really what this particular how to decide on your niche is quite about, but it does definitely include this part of it. So I wanted to make sure to mention it, that you want to make sure that you are cross-referencing for market demand. And this is also useful for, like, you want to know what the terminology is. You want to know how your competitors are speaking and moving, and what are the trends in your niche, right? You want to know what's the 411 with baking or social media management or whatever the niche is. Actually, social media management would be the industry, but your niche is more like music or wellness or personal development, right? Okay, all right. Next. Okay, so we'll talk about next steps really briefly, and then we can dive into Q&A. So next steps, if you want more support. So if you want one-on-one support, this is the process of how I do this in Off the Beaten Path Learning and how I do it in Communities Choose Growth. So whether I'm helping individuals or whether I'm helping a team, a whole, business, nonprofit team, the process is really the same. It starts with identifying goals, needs assessment, right? We find out what is it you want, what is it you need. Then we create a plan. Then we build your capacity to achieve that thing. Then you actually do the thing, and then we reflect and evaluate. One-on-one support is really helpful. And I like to say it's not rocket science, that it's so helpful because, you put two minds on one person's progress in one particular goal. Of course, you're going to get more attention, more care, more results. So if you can click next. If you need one-on-one support as a team for your team, then reach out to winnerschoose.com. That is the Communities Choose Growth Incorporated is where we work with teams. And so if you need help for your team, you'd go to winnerschoose.com. If you need help with you as an individual and your own personal development, your own professional development, that's offthebeatenpath.com. Okay, next. Boom. Wow, 10:30. Boom. That's amazing. That's amazing, right? I don't think I've ever in my life been so exact on time that I had estimated for myself. Okay. Let's start with some Q&A if anyone has any general questions, and if not, then I'll have some specific prompts for us to reflect.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I had some questions. Just in terms of formulating my niche or bringing it more specific, I did choose
Cool.
the travel industry.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my origin would be that my mother, and I spoke to Adriana about this earlier. My mother has a travel agency, and she's a single mom. That's how she paid the bills. And she started from the bottom, and she has a community that she serves. She does other things as well, multi-services. But no matter what, we always had a trip that we would go on, even if we didn't go to the best schools or lived in the best community. But she always made sure that we were exposed to diversity and different cultures, etc. So I guess that's my origin
That's beautiful.
story. And like you, I am in the I'm currently still in the educational field. I'm a social worker. So I do teach a lot of and empower lots of families. I'm not sure how that would kind of go into a niche. I'm kind of stuck there right now. I looked at solo travel, working with travel agencies directly. I've looked into, let me just check my notes.
So what I'm hearing that is coming through so loudly for me, and I'm curious as to if it even resonates, is the reoccurring theme of how much memories matter.
Happy
When
memories.
Right, and building those memories and how important it is to build those memories and experiences. It seems to me anyway, like that's a big part of your why.
It is.
And it's directly connected to your origin. And so I guess the question then is like, what are the skills that you can implement to meet the demands, the market demand, right? What needs, pain points can you bring your skills to the table to help out?
So that's where I'm kind of not sure. I need like, I probably have the answer. I just don't know if I would answer the question correctly. Can you reword the question?
Yeah. Which skills will address needs in the world? Which of your skills will address pain points in the world?
Well, I'm a therapist. I listen to people. I hear their stories. A lot of the stories are not always the best memories. I have to often reframe and help them re-narrate their,
Okay.
their
Okay.
experiences.
That's
When it comes,
perfect. That's perfect. When you think of your ideal client right now in the travel niche, who is that client?
um, that's where I'm
Maybe
stuck.
that's where you're stuck. Okay. Okay.
So I was looking at spiritual retreats, kind of,
Mm-hmm,
or like, not
mm-hmm.
so spiritual, but more like wellness, since I am in the wellness business, more of mental health side of it. Sorry for the background noise. I don't know if you
No, it's
guys can
okay.
hear.
How can you use? I think I'm going to like plant this seed and then maybe think it over and come back to me either within this span of time or come back
Sure.
to me in the Discord,
Okay.
because I'm curious what's gonna come to fruition. But my question for you is, how can you use listening in the travel industry
Okay. I'll let
and
it
consider that?
plant
Yeah, let it like
marinate.
mull it over. Yeah, exactly.
But you were gonna
Because
say something. What was it?
it seems like whatever is the how you're gonna use listening, it's related to creating memories. It's related to I'm imagining you listening to a retreat manager, right? Someone that's putting together a trip or an organized trip for a team, and you're listening to them and creating with them how they're going to facilitate making memories. So you're
Okay. Would
using your
that be
skill as a therapist and a social worker to empower, to listen, while also dipping into your origin and what brings you so much joy about like creating memories.
would that be travel planning, or am I off on that? Like
No,
assisting a
it
trip
was
manager.
yeah, like a consultant for people that are making trips, or a consultant for people that are a travel planner themselves, even.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah,
I love to plan.
yeah.
That's another thing that I do all the time. I plan my own, I build packages, extensive packages for myself and my friends to
Right,
travel.
right,
And it's
right.
like a road trip. Yeah, at least. Okay.
So you would be the event and travel planner. You would be the consultant for event and travel planners,
Okay. All
making
right.
out there helping other people make memories. Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Dominique.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie.
So, hi, Karen. Thank you so much. Your information's very helpful. So I'm going to just share how I've kind of gotten to my niche. I don't know if it's the exact right niche. I kind of stumble over it a little bit, but as I mentioned, my career has been in finance, but I also have a creative side. Since I was young, I always leaned towards artwork, calligraphy, with my own children and my grandchildren. I'm always into like crafts projects, uh, painting. So and I also live on the East Coast, so I in a shore town a lot. And I see a lot of small mom and pop businesses that, it's different than a big conglomerate business where they may not have the means to get their advertising out or definitely understand how to do some social media marketing or design work. So I kind of funneled to that after talking to other, coaches on that topic. I like to help people, and part of my job involves presentations, financial results. So that's how I kind of landed to the destination marketing, with the goal of helping small businesses make their own businesses more profitable by exposure.
Mm, that's really clear. I mean, I think it's, I mean, I think it is.
Yeah, I can't, it's funny because I think, well, what have I done most of my life? It's been in the financial world, financial reporting, and I'm like, do I like it? Yes. That's what I know, what I'm really good at. But I feel that I'm moving towards my retirement, and this is why I selected this program, to have something different, a different avenue to go forward with. So, okay.
Well, all right. So I'll just add like maybe just some validation as to like my
Okay.
logic for seeing why what you put forth is already so clear.
Okay.
What you said, profit through exposure,
Mm-hmm.
that is clear as day. And
Okay.
so
That's
yeah,
great. Thank you for
you're
pulling that out. Yeah.
you're using that financial acumen and now marketing acumen and just your natural creative side
Mm-hmm.
to that's the exposure, right? The marketing and creativity, that's the part where you're exposing to the leads, creating that generation of the leads and helping those businesses be profitable. And then you also come in with that backhand knowledge, that background knowledge of like, here's how you manage that money once you've got it.
Okay.
So I think something for you to think about is the ratio of marketing to profit management. I don't even
Okay.
know what to call that.
Yeah.
Resource man.
No.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the ratio that you want to your week each week? What ratio of like thinking about money to thinking about marketing? What's my ratio? Am I like 70 marketing, and building that into your systems?
Thank you. You've really explained everything clearly. I like your approach. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Those are such kind words. I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, I'd love to hear if anyone has any niches or niche questions, and if not, then I have a question for y'all. But I'll give you guys a minute to just kind of think through.
Could you also help like do another one, like figuring out the genius with me if I kind of give
I
you
love it.
Okay,
I
perfect.
love it.
Yeah.
This is how I play. Remember, you guys. Remember my origin story. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I'm taking the chance, so I'm going for it.
Let's go
and if
for it.
it's figure outable, then great. If not, then maybe I'll choose another niche. So I'm in this like the kind of personal development / authentic living space. And I was thinking of like my origin stories of what I really loved to do as a kid and up to as a teenager. And for me, I really resonated with what you wrote, which was the creativity, getting lost in drawing and creative things, for the solitude and the creativity of it and nourishing that. And I think as a kid and as a teenager and probably as an adult, I always just kind of like do my own thing, right? I've never been one who kind of like follows the crowd. Instead, it's like, yeah, all the kids are going this direction. I'm like, no, I'm going to go that direction. And I think without going too much into like how I grew up history, it's like me doing my own thing wasn't really encouraged because that was probably things that wasn't really along the norm. And I'm sure there are many people who can probably relate to that. So for me,
Right here.
yeah, see, exactly, off the beaten path, exactly, same. So my kind of, I think how I engage with the world, how I engage with friends and people and strangers, whatever. It's like I love to get to know people and also to be like, what is it that like what drives you? What is your passions? What is it that you would love to do most in the world? And kind of like give them like just go do it within like reasonable, like, you know, like don't go and murder someone, but like go and, you know, if that's like you want to move to Italy to take on the job and you want to learn Italian for a year, it's like, okay, what's stopping you? You have the means to do it or you don't. There's a way to figure it out, then you should absolutely do it, despite what everybody else is telling you around. Does it make sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of come into that, you know, personal development and authentic living. It's like helping, I see myself being of service to those who are in service of helping people get closer to themselves, you know, and their true core essence of the life that they want, the person they want to be, the relationships that they want, all of that.
Okay. Your passion is very clear.
Okay. Tell
What
me.
industry, what, um, well, I mean, in a word, you're right. It's very related to my passion. I would say it has to do with growth, development,
Yeah.
development.
Yeah.
How do you want to develop? In what way do you want to develop? Go forth and develop in that way. My question to you to refine this a little bit further would be, if that's your passion, what I'm trying to figure out is what industry do you, because you can help someone in self-discovery in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You could be their personal chef and help them discover, you know, their heritage and their family lineage through food.
Exactly.
I mean, it could be whatever. So what skills are you most cherish, and what is the problem in the world that you see, and how do those things intersect? That's what I'm asking, is like about your skills and how they intersect with a problem that you see in the world. That points to your industry.
Yeah, I kind of wrote out a question, it's gonna sound really silly, but how do I use my hype woman skills to hype other people up for self-expression and living in alignment with what they want? Like something along those. So yeah, how do I use my hype womanness in helping others in their business for marketing purposes or whatever? Somewhere along those lines.
Wait a second. You said or whatever, and then but before that you said with marketing?
Well, I guess like, no, sorry, in the niche or in the marketing, like helping these businesses, like hype them
I
up.
mean, that might be your industry right there. Because like, again, the hyping is the passion, and that's where we are in line with each other. If what you want to do is help, let's say, businesses hype up their mission through creating content, through creating writing that is really thoughtful and tells the story about their brand, and that really brings you a lot of excitement and is in line with your skills, your creative skills, then marketing, and perhaps more specifically social media marketing, is your industry, and your passion is that hyping up, is that so your passion is you're a hype woman, right? Your passion is helping people realize how they want to develop. And then the way that you're doing that could be very well be in marketing.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I consider myself a hype person, and the way that I do it is through one-on-one coaching and education.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk about you being an educator with Off the Beaten Path Learning.
Hey.
I don't like. Maybe we should. Yeah.
Let's talk on Discord. Let's see what's
yeah.
up.
Let's communicate. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That's good. Definitely.
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I'll give us another minute to see if anyone else wants to like bring up their niche or a question related to niche, or just share if any of this was helpful, like what in particular resonated, if anything. Um, and then we'll close out and say our thank yous and goodbyes.
Hello, can I go? Sorry, my internet's been dropping. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my internet's been dropping on and off, so I haven't been able to interact much, but it seems a bit better now. I found all of it really interesting, but I think especially just seeing you work with the different people in this chat is really inspiring, because I feel like you can learn a lot from that and apply it to yourself. So yeah, I've really found it helpful. I actually started off in the equestrian niche, but then, yeah, I kind of felt like it's been quite difficult to sort of get some clients rolling on that. There doesn't seem to be too much where I'm looking currently. But more than that, it's kind of, I wanted to do something that was a bit more holistic and representative of who I am.
Have you spoken in earlier? I watch back the recordings sometimes. Holistic. Have you spoken about oh shoot, what was it? Behavior? Are you the person who cares about behavior?
No, I don't think
Oh, okay. That's okay. Someone was talking about animals and like behavior of animals, and I found that to be very interesting. And then you said holistic and equestrian.
I spoke about horse behavior, but I don't know if I went to the animal behavior.
If that doesn't resonate, then it's don't even. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry.
No,
okay, so you're wondering. So you're coming from a equestrian background, and you want to bring marketing into it, but you're not really finding the leads you need in the equestrian segment of the world. Do I have an appropriate like summary of what's up right so far?
Yeah, for sure. And then, as I've been going through this process of LLMP, it's really been, encouraging me to figure out what I'm passionate about and, be open to different experiences and opportunities. And I think that's why, yeah, I've now started sort of recreating a new personal brand that's a little bit more broad. And yeah, because the main sort of idea that I had behind the equestrian industry was to support ethical businesses who prioritize like the well-being of horses, to uplift them and therefore in that way do some good and bring some positivity and growth within equestrian communities. So yeah, and I love that. But yeah, there's so many things that I'm passionate about. So I think I just wanted to broaden it a little bit, and it's probably coming a bit closer to what Sasha has been describing as her niche, but kind of centered around helping businesses who are passionate about enriching people's lives in different ways. And I've been kind of trying to figure out, what industries that kind of runs over. For example, I think sort of travel and exploration and, expanding your perspective and making new connections. That's really interesting to me. But then at the same time, like art and art galleries are incredible as well, because it's bringing beauty into the world through that artistic expression of what people feel and what it means to be human. And yeah, so it's kind of a mishmash at the moment, but yeah, this definitely helped knowing how to kind of find out, yeah, where I'm going.
Well, that's wonderful. Find out where you're going is a really I appreciate that. That was the objective. So thank you for saying that. It sounds like maybe some trial and error might be useful for you. So like putting forth in the world your personal brand as related to how can I help businesses to develop, right? Like Sasha, but
Yeah.
for you, and me also, but for you, the specific of it is ethically. That's, it seemed, when I heard you speaking, that's what came through, is like
Yes.
a reoccurring theme is like, how can I help this business to develop in the way that they feel is most helpful, most ethical, and that could be for, and then you started to question like, okay, but in what industries am I going to be helping these businesses? You
Yeah.
know, it could be this, that, the other. And what you were thinking, and I think it's a great question, is like, what's an offshoot of the equestrian world that I can, you know, meander into with some connections and bring those connections? What I see as connected are, there are four, why am I holding on my fingers like I don't know what four is? There are four industries that I see as connected to equestrian, and that's sports, the sports industry, well, I guess it's really three because performance, yeah, performance slash entertainment, it's three. So sports is one, two is performance slash entertainment, and three is creative slash media. Creative slash media, honestly, is, I don't really understand that, how that I made that connection. I think I made that connection when you were speaking about what you're interested in. So it's not really an offshoot of equestrian, but it is an offshoot of like, here's what I, Melissa, am into, which is helpful, right? To, you know, take note of. So yeah, so like, how can my personal brand help businesses develop ethically? And those businesses could be sports businesses, entertainment businesses, media businesses. How can I help them develop ethically? I would think about what are your frameworks? Like, how would you recommend someone get to their ethical, how does someone decide, like, how, if I came to you as a business and said I want to be more ethical, you would need to ask me all sorts of questions as to like what that means for me, what systems and operations do I want to apply it to.
So I think it's not so much doing that for businesses, but rather deciding to support and promote businesses that do have the same values that I do.
So you're developing businesses that are already ethical.
Yes, yes. Because I'm
you're helping
no
them.
expert.
And so and the way that you're hyping up a business is then through marketing, you're helping to spread their story, and they're already ethical. They're already ethical.
Yes, that's it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's really interesting.
Dominique, I have a question. I'm so sorry. I know we're out of time, or almost out of time. Can I go,
That's
or
exactly.
is there anyone else?
We have 4 amazing minutes. Please.
Okay, so I did like thinking, and I'm just trying to come up with like my pitch. You know, like I call it the elevator pitch. Like, well, so basically, how can my personal, I guess, brand, like you mentioned to the previous, um, I forgot the name of the lady that was just speaking. I'm so sorry. But you mentioned
Melissa.
to her like your state, Melissa, the statement was, how can her personal brand? So I guess, how can my personal brand help people make new memories, or am I helping trip managers help their customers make new memories? I'm trying to figure this out.
Okay,
If that
hold
makes
on.
sense.
Something
we're on to
actually just
something.
came to mind for as you were saying that, Stephanie, but has it got to do with also making those kinds of, core experiences or important experiences accessible to more people by, sort of promoting, something like around accessibility of, being able to encourage people to this.
You broke off a little bit in the end. So you said the accessibility, so making it accessible traveling to be accessible.
Oh,
Is
sorry.
that what
Yeah.
you mean, Melissa?
Yeah, I think my
Okay. I got
internet's going a little bit again. But yeah,
yeah.
making those kinds of experiences more accessible. So maybe supporting businesses who have an interest in, yeah, sort of making their services accessible to everyone or more people.
Okay. Just taking notes. I know we were using the terms. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
You
no,
were
no,
saying,
please go
Dominique?
ahead. Yeah, no, I'll jump. Oh, I got it written down. The terms what?
We use the term like just like, building memories by listening, empowering, consulting. I know those were like the words that we used. Am I consulting individual clients or am I consulting the travel developers or trip managers?
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's
It
my
sounds to
question.
me like your industry is the events and trips industry, and your skill set is listening and planning. So you would be a consultant for the event planners, for the trip planners, for the business
Okay.
owners that are planning a retreat. And I love the way you phrased it. I think that was a really clear question. Like, how can I help? You said trip managers, but I'm going to change it to event planners. I don't
Okay.
know. How can I
Yeah,
help
that
event
sounds good.
planners? And then this part is really important, and it's something for you to figure out. What is your man? I really want to put it in the chat, but then all right. What is your verb, adjective, and noun? Oh God, I'm such a nerd. What I mean by that is, for example, it could be
It's okay.
how can I help event planners create core memories? And maybe that's it. Like maybe we just hit
Oh
jackpot with that.
yeah.
How can I help event planners create core memories? But I would encourage you to really think about that and be really intentional with the exact phrasing. Each word, select each word so carefully. So think about like, is create the verb that I want? Is core the adjective that I want? Are memories the noun that I really, really want? And then that's your niche right there. It's like I help event planners create core memories. Yeah, Melissa, no problem. Thank you. And we're at
Thank you
time anyway, so
both. Thank you, Melissa.
I want to
I
yeah,
appreciate
thank you
that
everyone.
as well.
Sorry.
Thank
Thank you
you so
everyone for
much.
coming.
Take care.
Adriana, can I yeah, thank you. Thank you, Karen. Um oh, selfies. I forgot about that. Sorry. I messed it up.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens. I was just waiting to finish, yeah, to share the message on chat.
If you'd like, we can. Nah, I guess not. Right? I was gonna say we can do a selfie right now, but it's okay.
Yeah, everyone is gone now. That's right. Let's
Yeah, that's
let's
okay.
do other time now. Okay. Now I think everyone
Well,
is gone. Yeah.
yeah. I just wanted to say thank you so much for hosting and helping and going through the slides, and I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I think it's everything's gonna okay. Yeah, everything's gonna work. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye. See you.
Bye. Bye.